cute. Do you want to come high five me?
Yeah. That's it. That's how I roll. That's how I do things. I have a vision board of people I want to work with. And I've got all the names.
Is Jason Love on there?
Jason Love is on there. Jason Love's like number 1 on there. Oh my God. If people weren't paying for porn, there'd be no porn. Some people just want 30 seconds done. Close browser, pretend you never watched it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Delete history.
Oh God, that was terrible.
Also, I'm convinced that Delete History was definitely made by a man for men.
How many people respect Ice Spice's artistry and craft?
I don't know.
How many blokes are paying to go and watch her artistry?
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we love to talk about all things dating, relationships, and see what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome Annalee to the show.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good. She was telling us about how she's had like 15 of her social media accounts deleted. deleted
yeah.
For some censorship, so we might get into that. But I want to jump straight in. So tell us your age or your age range, and one thing a guy should know about you if he wants to take you on a date.
Ooh, age, I'm 31.
Okay.
Something they need to know about me before they take me on a date.
Yeah. What should they know about you?
Oh, the big one, obviously.
What's the big one?
I'm a sex worker.
Okay.
That's the big one, innit? That's the big.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So when you say sex worker, like what kind of work specifically? Are you like in the, adult entertainment industry, like on, PORN hub?
I am
Okay.
on the, what is it, the orange YouTube.
The
as some
orange
people
YouTube.
call it, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that. The orange YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, I do collabs and stuff. So it's all like online, try and do good shoots, get content with other people. I don't know how much I can say without, I don't want to be too explicit.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that for?
So I started as like a cam girl about 10 years ago.
It wasn't by Andrew Tate, was it?
It was not by Andrew Tate. I do remember the girls on the site at the time now though. Do you know, and the names have come back up. I remember them. Yeah, it's very bizarre. But no, I was never chosen.
Okay. He never flew out to Romania.
Yeah, thank goodness. But yeah, and then, I had a little break from it, came back, and then OnlyFans dropped and then jumped onto that one. And
okay. So is that your main focus, not the orange to YouTube?
There's a lot. I'm active on, I think if you go on my like fakeannalee.co.uk links,
yep.
There are so many. There's about 30 pages that I have to manage on like a daily basis.
Okay.
Because I do it all on my own as well. So there's no assistants, no agencies. I'm way too much of a control freak.
Okay. I guess that also means you get 100% of the revenue for you, which is fair enough. And
much
you work
better.
for it, you earn it.
Yeah.
So interesting, because we'll get onto how guys handle that if they ain't taking interest in you. What made you step away from it? And then what made you go, now I want to get back in?
So after a couple of years of doing it, my partner at the time.
Sorry, how old were you when you started?
I started when I was 20.
20. Okay.
Was it 20? Yeah, just turned 20. Yeah. And then my partner at the time, we were like very, very serious. He was going through some like family court issues and not getting access to his son. So we wanted to fight and make sure he was able to get access to his son. And we didn't want my work to potentially have an impact. So I stepped away. And then not long after I fell pregnant. So
wow.
I had my children, went into teaching, which was what I was doing. Initially, that's what I was doing while I was at my degree towards and stuff. Started teaching, and then someone outed me and I got fired.
Wow.
And then had a few other little rubbish jobs and was like, do you know what? Let's just go back to what we were doing first time round.
Okay. So was you going back in a sense of, because it almost felt like the only, I guess, security of a job that you're like, okay, well, you don't have to worry about being outed. You already know how to do it.
Yeah.
So was it like the security of it almost?
Yeah. To be honest, it was. It weren't like, I've got no other choice sort of thing. It was like, this is the best choice. I've tried the other things, after the teaching didn't work out, and, housekeeping in hotels and retail. And it was like, this is just terrible hours. I've got young children, terrible money. I know how to do this as a job. I know how to do it well. I know how to make money from it.
Yeah.
And then I'm completely in control and flexible around the kids. So it just made sense. And and I love it. So
Yeah, I get that. I guess whatever we want though, I guess everything comes at a price. Everything has its own price, right? So like, you know, there's this whole talk, you know, Lana Rhodes and stuff, and this whole talk of like, oh, because she's like a superstar and all this stuff, and you know, other people are gonna, you know, say things to a child and stuff like that. Do you ever worry about that with your children? Other people saying things to them about you?
Potentially, yeah. Obviously, you've got to be aware that that's something that could happen at some point. But they're still quite small at the minute, so yeah. As far as they're concerned,
2-year-olds aren't going to know about OnlyFans.
Yeah, I work. What I do for a living is I work on my phone, and that is a satisfactory answer. I work on my phone, and like, okay, that's it, cool. Fairs. But obviously, there will come a time where there is an explanation that's age appropriate and like, you know, obviously family appropriate and stuff as well. So in the same way that there's certain aspects of my job I don't tell my mum, not because it's uncomfortable, because she didn't really need to know. Yeah, there's just no need to go into such detail.
She's like, how do you know this guy? We just met out. That's all.
That's as much as we need to know. We don't need to go any more.
I hear that. It's interesting that you took a step away from it for your partner. Yeah. Obviously, there was legal proceedings, so it was, I guess the stakes were higher. Yeah. Did he have a problem with you doing it in the first place? Because obviously that's okay.
No. I was doing it before we met. So he was the first person I met on Tinder. Okay. I ultimately ended up marrying him and having children with him, divorcing him eventually, but still. Okay. But no, he didn't have an issue in the slightest. I've rarely come across people that have a problem with it. Yeah. Initially, at least.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think for many guys, and you can tell me your experience, I think for many guys at first, they'll be like, oh, she's really cool, she's really fun, she's like an OnlyFans model, all of this stuff. But then when they start to fall for you and be like, oh, actually, like this is someone that I actually potentially want to be with long term, that's when it's quite common guys will be like, yeah, I don't know how okay with this I actually am. Has that been your experience?
Kind of. It's more, I think a lot of guys see it as a fetish. So a lot of guys think they fancy me, but they don't. They just like the idea of being with someone who does what I do for a living, because it's kind of, I don't know. They see me as this porn star. So it's like, oh, I've managed to bag a porn. Do you know what I mean? Just for that one night of da-da. Sure. So it's not me, it's the fetish of the job. And I think that happens to quite a lot of girls. Sure. But in the situations where it has been like a long-term one, then they don't have a problem with the job because I don't work with other people. If I'm in a relationship, it's purely solo, or they will be in my content and that's it. They can't deal with the time that goes into it and not being able to, because they see me as, well, you're just at home. You're just at home all day. So why can't you do this for me? Why can't you go and do this for me? Why can't you come and drive down and, you know, do all this? Right. Like, I'm still working. It's not a shift. I've not gone somewhere. I'm not sat in an office. So you're not seeing it as that. And I think that becomes an issue. And a lot of time, I think they're quite intimidated because a lot of times they are in average jobs, not making bad money, but they're not making brilliant money. And the things that they want to do, they're doing outside. They're doing their music on the side. They're doing their, and I'm getting to do it as day to day. And I think that becomes a bit of a problem. So
when you say intimidated, is it like what you're saying? You want to go on this lavish holiday and they struggle to meet that financial standard?
No, not even. It was me. I paid for all holidays. I took everyone away. 2 30th birthdays I've paid for, like bougie 5-star hotel. Ridiculous. Okay. Yeah. Not mine though. No 30th birthday for me, just saying, by the way. Okay. Paid for me on 30th birthday. Yeah. But yeah. No, it's not in a sense of like they can't keep up, because I would never ever put someone in that position. If I can help someone and help pull them up, I'll do exactly the same. But I think because I don't know, maybe it's just that independence and that I'm going and achieving and doing these things, and they can't do that because they're tied to this 9 to 5, or they're tied to these other. I mean, I've still got so many responsibilities. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here and everywhere. I've got a single mum, so they're my 9 to 5 for most part. But
of course. Interesting, because I think not that some guys aren't intimidated by like a woman who's going out there and getting it, but I think it depends on the kind of relationship they're looking for. Because, and I hear this from women all the time, where they'll want a guy who's like attractive, successful, ambitious, they meet him and then they're like, oh, but you don't have that much time for me. And it's like, well, that's what comes with
Yeah,
being with this
that's how
kind of
you get
person.
to-
right?
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
he's so successful, because he knows how to go out there and get it, and it takes
Yeah.
a lot of commitment. So do you think it was that? It was just that, it was the commitment of the job as opposed to what the job actually is of being an OnlyFans?
I think that was a lot of it. Because I'm very much like, excuse me,
Yeah.
if I'm in a relationship, I'm like, it's us. I want us both to succeed. So if I can help you with your thing and you can do that. But then I think they oversold their ambition and what they wanted to do. So then when it come to me being like, right, let's do this. Let's get these big ideas, what you want to do for your thing. And ultimately, we're like, oof.
So is it more...
Now you've called me on it. I don't actually want to put that effort in.
Okay, so is it more that you're not satisfied with what they're doing as opposed to them being like, I can't handle you?
No, not at all. But I mean, the relationships I'm speaking of, I suppose are tainted anyway because they were both very manipulative men, and it ended awfully. One had been cheating on me the entire time, and one was just become really abusive. So how they interpreted my job is obviously not a fair representation of all men. My husband, my ex-husband, never bothered. He has never cared in the slightest. He is so apathetic towards it. It is just a job. Yeah. I could be working in Superdrug for all he cares. Do you know what I mean? It is just nothing.
Do you think he would have had an issue with it? Because when you were with him, you weren't collaborating with other guys.
No, I did one collab when we were together, but we opened our marriage for a little while. So it was a little bit.
Who did that come from, you or him?
It was
you.
It was me for him though. So he wanted
you for him.
Yeah. So he wanted a threesome.
Okay.
And I said I couldn't do it. I couldn't be in a threesome with you and another girl. I'm way too insecure for that. I couldn't do it. But
wow, that is interesting considering what you do.
Yeah, I know.
That is interesting. But okay, go ahead.
But I would be happy for you to go and have a threesome with two other women. I just don't need to know about it. I don't need to see it. I don't need to be part of it. That's just you go and fulfill your bucket list thing, and then that's that. Right. So he got Tinder. We were trying to help him find like girls. And then I was just like, I might get Tinder because it looks fun. You know, we've been married for years. We've been settled. It's not anything. I'm just, it's just a game.
Fun, though?
It was just the game of swiping. Like I've not been on my first Tinder match. I've married. Do you know what I mean? I was like, and he gets to swipe and play. I want to swipe and just.
So it's like the validation.
Yeah, pretty much. It will literally just see what's...
Those poor guys, they matched with you, they thought they had a chance, and you're like, psych, I'm just here for the fun.
No, I did end up meeting a few people, though. That's what I mean. It ended up...
Is that not really why you wanted to get on Tinder?
No, genuinely. Like, it never crossed my mind that it was going to be both of us. It was just that it was going to be this one threesome, and that'd be it. But it just ended up... Yeah.
But do you think it's a coincidence that when he was doing it and potentially going out there, that was when you're like, oh, now I want to do it? Which, of course, makes sense. You're like, oh, well, if you're going to be open to it, I should be open.
Yeah, but again, it weren't even, not in a malicious, like, well, if you get to, I get to. It was just a curiosity thing. Just looks like fun. If you were having a swipe, I want to have a swipe.
I mean, I get that, but I think nothing happens by accident. So, like, if you matched with a guy and then one thing led to another, like, there is a level of intention there. It's not like, oh, I was just started on for fun and then somehow I just ended up in his bed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a lot of intention that goes from that match to that happening.
Potentially, but I just, at the time, it wasn't conscious. It wasn't conscious intention. It was genuinely just of, this looks like fun. I can't even remember how I ended up at the point of meeting someone. I do remember at some point we had a conversation later on and he was like, can we go back to what we originally said? He goes, you weren't supposed to be meeting anyone. Like, it would just
how did he take that?
Because he was fine with it at first because, like I said, it just developed naturally.
Right.
So he'd go on dates and I'd go on dates and it weren't like, it wasn't a thing. We were just kind of like figuring it out and it was a bit uncomfortable for both of us, but we'd sit and talk about it and we were fine with it. But yeah, it did get to a point where we were like, hold on a minute, how are you doing like, but it's because I was getting more people and obviously was getting catfished.
I mean, to be fair, women, as a woman, you're going to get an abundance of options in comparison to most guys. What did you, from that experience, what did you learn about yourself in regards to your relationship to sex?
Do you know what? I don't think I learned a lot because I've always been very like, I don't know what the right word is.
Liberal?
Yeah, very. I'm just.
I was gonna say detached, but that sounds kind of clinical, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Not in a sort of like cold.
Yeah, not in a cold way, but you're like, oh, it's just.
It is just that. It is a handshake. Do you know what I mean? It's a high five. Do you know what I mean?
It's a high five, baby.
It's a really passionate high five.
Hey, you're really cute. Do you want to come high five me?
Yeah. That's it. That's how I roll. That's how I do things.
That's so funny. So for you now then, like dating guys, because I'll be honest, to meet that kind of guy who would have no issue with it, like we were saying before the cameras went rolling, my background is I'm an actor, so my industry people very open-minded, very liberal, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And even then in those circles, it's pretty difficult to find people, I think especially a guy who would be okay with like his woman sleeping with other women.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So is that hard to find in your experience? Like, how has that been for you?
I don't think so. I don't think, obviously they're not super common, but
Yeah.
I can't speak on my experience, obviously, because I'm single, but a lot of the women in the industry are married or long-term relationships. And you wouldn't think it, you wouldn't know. Some of the really big names, you would not know they're married. Yeah. You wouldn't have a clue. As far as you're concerned, they look like they're single, they're off in America with big names doing whatever.
Yeah.
Come back, husbands, that camera.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's
That's
a lot
true.
of, but people just don't know because it's bad for the brand.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
It ruins the fantasy.
Yeah. So a lot of people
fantasy.
don't talk about it, but a lot of the men are also not going to be like, oh, you know what my bird does on weekends? She's going to go and get run through by three fellas.
I think that's, for a lot of guys, that's their, not fear, but that's what they can't handle. Like, we're together, I'm telling my friends about you, telling my family about you, whatever. And then my friends can go and see what I see every Friday night. Do you know what I mean? In the most explicit way. And I think that's why I was like, question, like, is that rare to find a guy who would do that?
See, again, it's hard to say because I can only speak on what I know. Like they said, these women. I'd assume probably, but I've never been that person. I've never been if we get together, I'm still going to carry on sleeping with the people. So I've never had to have that conversation or, be in that position because if I'm with someone, it's like, well, that's it. That's because I'd expect that from them, whether it's professional or personal. So I think it's only fair in return. Would
you date a guy who was in the adult industry?
I don't know. I've been asked this a lot recently, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I genuinely don't think I'm like secure enough for it. Yeah. My self-esteem is too low. My self-esteem is way too low to be able to handle it.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, you say low. I mean, what you do takes a lot of confidence. So I think in one aspect, it seems like you have a lot of confidence to be able to put yourself out there like that and make money from it. But that's so interesting. So if there was a male version of you, you wouldn't even date him yourself?
No, I don't think so. No. No, I'd like them to just be loyal to me and that's that. Yeah.
But I guess you're not loyal to them.
No, but that's what I mean. That's why I know it's an unrealistic situation. I'm not anticipating getting plenty of offers for that.
Okay.
Like, I'm aware of.
You know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I'm very aware of what circumstances. I'm just hopeful. Okay. But I don't see point in settling for anything else other than.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of offers from like guys to collab with you?
Yeah.
How do you know who to say yes to?
I have a vision board of people I want to work with. And I've got all the names stuck on one side, and then when I work with him, I move them to the other side.
Is Jason Love on there?
Jason Love is on there. Jason Love's like number 1 on there. Oh my God.
The reason I ask, because you know with what's that couple called? Adam 22 and Lena.
Lena, yeah.
And obviously, her first collab outside of him with Jason Love. Like, if you don't know who he is, he's like the Black Superman of the adult industry, is what I will say.
Beautiful man.
What do you think? What do you think about that situation?
I don't think anything of it. I think it's like I say, people just detach from what it is. I think some people can and some people can't.
Yeah.
But it's the same as it is with values in any situation. There's certain countries you can't show skin. There's certain countries you can show skin. It's just how you value things differently. And I think some people can, step away from that and be like, it is just sex, and you're going to come back and we're still married and we're still happy, and that was just an act, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah. Okay. Hypothetical for you.
Go on.
You've got a man, let's say you've been together for about a year, right? And an opportunity comes for you to collab with Jason.
Right.
But your guy goes, I'll let you do this, but from now on, it's open on my side and it's closed on your side.
This is why I'm not getting another relationship though. Because I don't like that. I don't like that there's going to be a position where I can't do something. I'm not allowed to do something. Even if it's just out of courtesy. If I would like to do something and I would feel bad doing it, I don't want to be in that position. So I just don't see a point in ever getting in a relationship again.
But you wouldn't feel bad doing it. He would say, hey, you have my blessing to do it.
But then the aftermath is not my ideal situation. So now I've ended up in a position I don't want to be in.
I see. So you would just, in that hypothetical, would you say no to the collab?
I don't know, because I wouldn't.
I could see you thinking about Jason's equipment in your head. You were like, oh, wow, that would be amazing.
Because as I stand at the minute, I would never be in a relationship again. Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's just done, 100% out. No one believes me, but 100% done.
Why?
Like, people think it's because I had bad experiences, obviously abusive exes, like cheating, all that sort of stuff. And my last relationship was about a year ago. And that I'd found out I'd been cheating on me like the entire time we'd been together, but he'd been making me feel like I'd been doing things to disturb our relationship because he was obviously doing things on the sly.
Right.
So after that, I said, right, I'm going to be single for a while, because up until that point, I was a serial monogamist. I could not have a boyfriend.
It's not that I don't believe you, but it's just interesting hearing, oh, he does OnlyFans and class with people, be like, you're a serial monogamist.
I'd have a week or so, a couple of weeks of just, I'd go in Larry, every Tom, Dick and Harry. And then I'll just end up talking to one more than other. Next thing I'm in. And that's it. And then I'm locked in for a year. But yeah, after that last one, I said, I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to be single for a bit, because I've never stayed single for like longer than a few months. And I'm 30 now. So yeah, this needs to be a good choice. And I genuinely didn't think at that point I'll be off relationships. I thought at some point I will meet someone again and that'll be that. And the state of things I've seen since being single has put me off. The amount of men in relationships who brazenly ask me to fuck them. Brazenly. On messages with proof, out and about in public, in front of people they know. No shame at all that they've got partners at home. Sometimes children at home.
I hear that. What percentage of men do you think that actually is?
From what I've seen, it's quite a lot. It's the people that I wouldn't have expected as well. A lot of people that you would say they are the most wholesome, family-oriented. You would never.
But I guess you don't know if they're in an open relationship. They could be.
What do you think the chances are?
I'm saying it could be.
It could, but I'm reckoning it's not.
So
most times I'm reckoning it's not.
If they were single, would you be more open to it?
What? Just.
Well, not like a guy randomly DMs you, be like, hey, do you want to come over and like, you know, have some fun? But I guess...
Well, it depends on what he looks like.
Maybe we would, right? But I guess... Because, okay, I get you're saying like, okay, no relationships, right? But I'm making an assumption. I'm guessing you're still open to having your own experiences, indulge, like connect with people, even if it's not like a monogamous kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. So like I still see people and have like regular people that go and
regular playmates.
Regular playmates. And, you know, I have slightly different relationships with each one of them, but it is just that. Do you know what I mean? It's just friends, and then we have as fun, and then back to being friends again.
I think, and I completely hear, you know, especially in your line of work, and I've heard other girls who do work in, you know, as a sex worker, you kind of see the dark side of men. Yeah. And just being completely real, like the industry you're in attracts those kinds of people. Does that make sense? Yes. So while I don't doubt that's like the majority of your experience, I think there's a selection bias in that. Does that make sense?
I'd agree. I probably should have clarified. The gentleman I'm speaking about who contacted me, I'm not talking about people for work. The people for work, that's a completely separate issue. I am a service provider. That's what you choose to do with your relationships. None of my business.
Well, you say
I'm talking about people I know in my personal life. People I know from like other industries that I'm like part of.
Yeah, but that's
not
what
the
I mean,
sex
though.
industry.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Because they know you're in that kind of line of work.
Oh yeah, they feel comfortable.
It brings
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, this side, like the guys who want to entertain that side, they're like, okay, I can entertain this side with you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like out of 100 guys, maybe let's say 20, right, are like, oh, they have this side that they want to indulge in, and then they meet you or they see what you do, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, I can have this with Annalee. Yeah. And so they'll like reach out to you. But out of 100 guys, or you're just getting like hit up by like 18 guys, you're like all these guys are like married with kids, and I'm not saying it's okay, but I guess what I'm saying is the industry you're in attracts that side of the people who want to indulge in that. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, I think so, because obviously there is a level of like discretion and confidentiality that goes with our job, as well as, like I said earlier, about it's like slightly fetishized. It's exciting. It's
sure.
You know, chances are if you message a random girl and message someone like me, if they fancy you, you're much more likely to get something back off me in terms of like, you know, nudes or something like that than you would maybe the average girl. Because
sure, yeah,
I don't care, and it's all there anyway.
Because what I mean is, I doubt they would take that same approach with like you said, the average girl.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. But it's because they feel comfortable doing it with me, which is why I feel like I'm seeing these sides of people that people don't know. So people don't know. People see these men and are like, oh, he loves his missus. Look, anniversary post he put up. How delightful is that? Don't know, 2 days before he's trying to stick his hands down my trousers, and I'm like, fuck you doing? And then that's when I find out that they've got missuses, when they put it something on the internet. They're single until I find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not okay if, you know, it's not consensual. We don't condone that. But I guess, doesn't that raise the question? Because you kind of said, oh, well, you know, you can compartmentalize sex. So just because he wants to have sex with you, that doesn't mean he doesn't love his woman any less.
That may be the case, but that she's not consented to him stepping outside of their relationship and stepping outside of their marriage. And I know how that felt, to have trusted someone to be doing what they said they were doing and reciprocating that loyalty. And I know how that felt to find out they hadn't been. So I would never ever facilitate that, ever. Yeah,
I guess it's, if you know for sure that she hasn't, but I guess you don't know unless, because like you said with your previous husband, right? You kind of said to him, okay, you can go do your thing, but don't tell me, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And so that could be it.
There were situations where I had to like send a voice note or a video or something confirming that this is actually the case. It's not a ploy of him trying to get a threesome and pretending he's got a wife. Or, do you know what I mean? Right, it's not some story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did occasionally have to prove that, you know, there was consent on my part. But yeah, these women have no idea what their fellas are doing. And it's so sad as well, because they're the women that you'll see on like, when people put the Instagram reels up about cheating and they're like, yeah, I feel sorry for him, but it would never be my man. And I'm like,
it is your man.
It is. You just don't know. You've just not found out yet. That's all it is. That's the only difference between you and her. You've just not figured it out yet.
What do you think about monogamy then? Do you think it's natural for us?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think the alternative's uncomfortable because we've been pushed into this. Like that's just the natural setup, this heteronormative, one man, one woman, 2.5 children. That's whatever statistic it is.
Yeah. You know, literally 2.5 children, two kids, and then one just the waist up. It's just the waist up. Hey, no potty time for you.
But yeah, and I think because we've been programmed to be, that's the norm. That's what it should be. That's the dream, the picket fence, not because that's what it is in media, isn't it? That's what everyone should aim towards, and anything less than that, you're a spinster or.
Yeah, I think that is what is best for society as a culture, to stabilize society. Because, okay, in terms of, for example, very attractive, desirable men having multiple women, that's actually very normal. But that's not the main narrative, because one, most men can't do that. But two, if that was the main practice, then our culture and society would destabilize, because it's very like, if you have one guy and he has 5 women and all of them have 1 or 2 kids of him, he can't be the father he needs to be to all of those children that they would need. Right? And that's incredibly destabilizing. Now, for a culture, it's fine if a very small percentage of guys do that. But if every guy is doing that, like you mess up the next generation, culture kind of disintegrates, right? So I think a big reason why is because it's better for society as a whole if people are one monogamous. But then there's a question, even for some women, where there's an element of them wanting to have physical things elsewhere, which is, I mean, you're seeing the guy side of that. You know, some guys, I've seen the other side of it, if I'm being honest. Not loads of women, but a few, which I was like, wow, you've been married for 20 years. And you're like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not
sliding
saying.
into my DM, just
I get
like,
this
do you
a
know what I
lot
mean?
as well. I get this a lot because when I talk about cheating and stuff on podcasts, I get so many people going, "Yeah, well, women are just as bad. Women, they may be. I have not been in relationships with women, so I cannot comment on that.
Would
Do you
you?
know what I mean? I am not saying women are any better. I just don't know. The same way that you're going, well, I've never cheated and so and so, but you're not in relationships with men, so of course you're not going to have experienced this. We cannot possibly come to an agreement on this because we're arguing black and white. We're literally.
Would you be in a relationship with a woman?
I would, but not if I was going for a relationship. It's not an issue of like a gender issue or a sex issue or anything like that.
Wait, what do you mean?
So I'm attracted to who I'm attracted to. I'm not bothered how they identify or anything. It makes no odds to me. If I fancy him, I fancy him. That's
Okay.
that's be all and end all. So yeah, if I was going for a relationship, I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to be in a relationship with a woman, but I don't want any.
Sure. The only reason I asked that is because you said like the reason you didn't want to have a relationship is because you see from your experience what a lot of men are like. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, well, would you be in a relationship with a woman?
Oh, but obviously I hear what the men are saying about women and I see what some of the women are saying. I've seen, there was a post.
You just don't trust people, period.
Yeah, just people in general. Everyone is fucked. So
everyone is a dark horse and I'm not here for it.
You don't know what anyone's up to, so why bother trying? Stick to yourself, crack on.
I hear that. I'll be honest, I think that's a sad perspective to take.
Oh, it's terribly sad.
I think that
very depressing outlook, I can't lie. I'm not promoting it to anyone.
Yeah, do you not believe you can have that connection with one person where it's a level of reciprocated love, loyalty, and trust? Do you not believe that?
No.
Wow.
No, I don't. I don't trust people to say what they mean. I'm a very straightforward person. I'm very honest and people just. I'm not saying it's everybody. Obviously, there are people I know who are in relationships, and I truly want to believe that they have never been disloyal or anything. So I'm not saying it is 100% of people, but the statistics from what I've seen, what people are saying, and what the pros of a long-term relationship just don't seem to outweigh the cons. So just the risks are they don't win up to the rewards.
Well, according to statistics of what we know,
go on.
Guys cheat at around 27% of the time and women cheat around 24% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's very close. Now, 1 in 4 is statistically feels quite high, but that means 3 in 4, you're probably not going to experience that. So you're still more likely to be with somebody who is actually going to be faithful to you and be loyal in that sense. Do you not believe that? Possibly,
but then there's still the other factors that weigh into it of there's certain things you can and can't do when you're in a relationship. There are levels of control. You do have to compromise, and I'm not saying
control or boundaries.
Either way, whatever you want to call it. Call it boundaries if you want to call it boundaries. It makes no difference. If you're not comfortable with me doing something that I want to do, and I don't do it then because of your boundary, that's completely fine, and that is the definition of respect. But and I mean in the sense of like, let me give it an example because I feel like I'm bordering on weird non-consensual stuff. And I don't mean like this. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we are examples is going a bit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so say if I was in a relationship with someone and I wanted to sleep with somebody else, I just caught someone just caught my eye and I'm like, but his boundary is, well, no, we're monogamous and that's what I don't want to do. But I want to, and now I can't because of this agreement we've made, which I would respect, but there's still going to be a part of me that's not done something I want to do because of something. So I wouldn't ever go and cheat. I wouldn't ever cross someone's boundaries. So I don't want to be in a position where my life is impacted so heavily by somebody else's boundaries.
Is that really heavily though? Like you're in a relationship, you meet one guy one time that you would sleep with.
So many fit people. Oh my God.
Is that a big impact for you?
I fancy so many people. I am on it like all the time. I can't help myself.
So why not have an open relationship? Because that's what would actually work
to
for
go
you.
and do all. Ideal for me, right? I've got loads of boyfriends. They're all faithful to me,
hilarious.
and I just can do as please.
You sound like a guy. That's like every
That's the
guy's
dream, though, isn't it? Though, realistically, that's what everyone would want.
The thing is, you could have that, but there's a deal that comes with that, though. So if you were, and I guess you kind of said you kind of like this with your relationships, but historically for guys, it was like, okay, I will provide and protect you. You don't have to worry about anything in that sense, but I may go and do what I want physically elsewhere, right? And some women, they're like, I can accept that.
Yeah.
They may not be happy with it, but they can accept it. Some, they're like, that's not for me. Some they can. So if you took that position for a guy, be like, okay, cool. I will provide for you, right? I'll take care of things, right? But you are loyal to me and I can go elsewhere. That's the scenario in which that would work for you. But then you would take the position of being the provider and maybe even protector, I guess.
Like
could you do
sugar
that?
Mama.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where it'd be.
Would you do that?
I wouldn't mind doing that. That wouldn't be an issue.
There we go. We found an avenue. We found a way. She could do it.
I'd have to really fancy him for that one to want to keep him on, because
I think that'd be hard.
people are quite replaceable. I know that's a very depressing statement, but
I think the kind of guy that would accept that would probably not be the kind of guy that you find that desirable.
yeah, strong possibility.
Damn.
Very strong
I
possibility.
thought I found an avenue, but I don't know. I don't know if I did. Is there anything you want to chat about, bring to conversation today? Anything?
I don't know.
Is there something you would ask all guys today?
What's wrong with you? Fucking come on, just get your sense of check and stop. No.
Hey, listen. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I go answer. Like,
Hopefully that might have just got through to someone and gone, do you know what? Actually, she's right. What am I doing? Yeah, no, fair enough. Instagram done.
That's it. Done. Meanwhile, he's still sliding into your DMs.
Let me message her. Yeah. Let me message her and tell her impact she's just had on my relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, do you want to come over?
Yeah. How far away are you?
Literally. But yeah, is there, I mean, you said what's like, you know, what for you, what do you think is the biggest issue that you're seeing with guys then?
For me, it is just that. It's the cheating's the biggest. But I feel like that's because now I'm so focused, I see it everywhere.
Sure,
Do you know what I mean? I'm so aware of
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. But I just feel like if people were a lot more open with what they wanted, this is what I was saying earlier about people being honest about what they actually want. Don't go into a relationship saying you want this when you know deep down, actually, maybe I don't. Just be honest, because there is going to be someone who goes, yeah, sweet. There are poly relationships, you know what I mean? There are open relationships and that can be found. It's just hard work and men don't want to put... Sorry, I shouldn't just say men.
I hear what you're saying.
People don't want to put the work in for it.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode.
But is it not possible, which I actually do think happens, that it's not that they don't mean it in the moment, but it's that, and this doesn't condone cheating, but it's that they come across a situation where they want to. So like, for example, you're like, oh, if you're in a relationship, you've got this agreement, it's just you two, and then you might meet a guy and be like, oh, I really want to sleep with him, right? It's not that you were lying before. It's just that you're now in a scenario where there's something you want to do that now you can't because of somebody else's boundaries that you've agreed to previous. That's what I'm saying. So your choice now is to respect the person that you supposedly love and respect their boundaries, or be honest with yourself and be like, I don't want to be in this situation because having sex with this person is more important than this life I've built with this person. Yeah, in but can't you take that approach too?
What do you mean?
Well, you're like, because you're like, there's so many hot people, like I don't want to not be able to sleep with them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's why I won't be in a relationship. So I'm never in that situation of having to choose between respecting somebody's boundaries or doing what I would like to do. Because that is the choice ultimately, is how much you respect their boundaries is whether you do it or you don't do it. If you don't respect their boundaries, you go and do it, you've put whatever one is so much more important than your relationship. So
Yeah.
You need to be honest with yourself that that's not what you wanted. You might have thought that's what you wanted, but ultimately it can't have been. And any sort of, I was drunk, it's spare of the moment. It's not. It's, not just happens like off a whim, whatever.
Yes.
This thought goes into it. There are many, many steps to get to that point of someone's penis and someone's vagina where you could have gone, do you know what, actually? No, this is a bit wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. And I completely agree if everybody was kind of just honest and transparent. I wonder, I don't know how many people can handle the full transparency. So for example, like some people will be difficult for them to hear that their partner would find other people attractive. Not that they're going to pursue anything, not that they would ever even want to take that step, but that they actually would find that person attractive. Yeah. Right? Some people can't hear that. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think sometimes in relationships, and this doesn't condone cheating or anything like that, but I think sometimes in relationships, there's sometimes not being fully transparent can be a way to be kind, so long as it doesn't affect the relationship. So like, for example, if I'm with someone who is, let's say not that she's anxious, but let's say she doesn't like it when other girls maybe look at me or like come and talk to me, right? Because maybe they take an interest. If I go out with a couple of friends and let's say I get hit on by a girl, I'm not going to come home and tell her, hey babe, just so you know, this is what happened today. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I would only be telling her that information. I'd be fully transparent, but then that could hurt her, right? So it's like, I don't need to. But you didn't act on it. You didn't engage with it. You didn't do it. There's no need. That, do you know what I mean? That's my point. It's the same. To me, that's the equivalent of, if a bloke had walked past and said something. The only reason is, like I said, because of the insecurity, which again is a communication issue. And if you can't, I'm not saying that you should tell her these like odd scenarios that have amounted to absolutely nothing. Yeah, exactly. But if you can't, if there's a part of you that did want to act on it, there's a part of you that did want to do something, and you can't speak to your partner because of her insecurity, and she can't speak to you because of her insecurity, that relationship's not working. You're not in a healthy relationship. And it is scary. Agree. These conversations are scary. And a lot of people can't handle it, which is why they stick to the keeping secrets. But when it does come out, it's way more devastating. You should have just had the chat. I hear you, but I agree. But what I would change is that it's not about whether you want to do it, it's whether you'd make the decision to. Okay, yeah. So because I think, let's just keep it real, right? People can be in relationships, but they still want to sleep with other people, but they make the decision not to for the benefit of the relationship, right? Yeah. Now, if you're like, oh, I'm going to make the decision to, that's what you need to chat to your partner about. Yeah. But just wanting to, right? Let's just be real, because people want to. Some people don't, but some people do. But they choose not to. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, of course. And I think like I think it's healthy to still like lust after other people and still find other people. You can objectively see someone's attractive and it not be a statement on your relationship. Yes. Unless there is an issue of security within your relationship, whereby saying that is going to cause ups. I've had things before where my ex used to get so angry with me because the people in his industry, his friends, would like my photos. And obviously my photos are somewhat provocative photos, but I also know these people as well. So they are friends in the same way that like my other friends would like my photos, but he couldn't handle that at all. That was and that become my problem. Yeah, I mean, that's not your fault if they're liking him. I guess it sounds like he probably has more of an issue that you post those kind of photos anyway. But I want to ask on that, because girls have an issue with guys liking girls' photos. Yeah. Is it really the same as just liking a photo or no? It's a hard one, because when I've been in relationships, I've got upset by it. I get upset when I see him liking other people's photos. Because I do more now, but I never liked people's photos because I fancied them. I didn't follow people because I fancied them. I've never been like a big social media person, so yeah, that weren't a thing for me. So it didn't make sense why someone would do that. I'm like, because what are you adding by liking this? You don't know this girl. She's an Australian blonde-haired, massive tit bird. You don't know her. Why did you need to click that heart? So why did you have to story? Do you know what I mean? It's so like why is it not because he just likes the photo? It could be, but as opposed to him liking the girl. That's my insecurity. That's my low self-esteem. That's what I mean. That's my issue, and that's another reason why. But a lot of girls have that issue though. Again, because they've got low self-esteem and they're insecure. But no one wants to accept it. They want to deflect and go, well, it's his fault. He shouldn't be doing that. Maybe so. If you've agreed for him not to do that, fair enough. But
it is ultimately because you are insecure and you feel like he prefers her to you, because that's what it was for me. And it's you just have to be honest with yourself.
So is it almost like a declaration, or for a girl, she feels like, oh, this is a declaration of what you like, and if I'm not that, that cuts me.
You're seeing that and liking that. That's what you fancy. That's what you want. And obviously, most at times, it is going to be these heavily photoshopped, gorgeous, stunning women, and you're sat at home in your pajamas like, why is
that's not me?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't look like that. So when he comes back, you don't think it's you that they want, especially if they're not giving 110% to show you that you're desirable to them.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I think a guy could be doing that, but a girl would still have an issue with it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it can be though, if you are, if you're at that point.
Personally, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate. I agree. I don't think guys should like half naked, no offense to you, because I know you post this, but I don't think guys should like half naked photos of girls online because, well, one, I just think it's a little bit simpy behavior, but also, like, what does he gain from that? Like, really?
See, it depends though. It depends on what you see it as. If you see it as she's just a girl in a bikini, I don't get no out of it. If you see it as the people who follow me and support me and they're like, this is going to help her grow, this is going to build her business, she's going to... The same way that your friends might not even watch your podcast, but they'll like and comment. They've never watched an episode, but they'll be like, yeah, fire emoji, nice one.
Yeah, but
no interest. Do you know what I mean? It's that same sort
I hear that, but I don't think, like, if you post like a sexy lingerie photo, I don't think the majority of guys who like your photo, they're doing it, because I really want to support her. They're doing it because, she looks really hot.
Yeah.
So it's like... Because I think...
But then women do the same. Women like... Everyone's ultimately like...
I think when girls like it, it could be like support. But okay, because I think the irony is, and I've had this chat, so I wonder what you think.
Go on.
The irony is that when I've talked to certain girls who are in OnlyFans, or maybe they do sexy lingerie models, all this stuff, they want guys to like their photos and subscribe to their OnlyFans, but they would never date that guy. They would never date the guy who actually does do that.
Who does this stuff. I think some...
Who would actually be like, oh, he's subscribed to my OnlyFans.
It depends. I think there's different types of models. So
okay.
I see kind of like a bit of a divide between like the sex workers.
Yeah.
So those that were around pre-OnlyFans or came up through physical sex work, doing full service, phone lines, webcams, anything like that.
Right.
And those that were born out of OnlyFans. And a lot of them are agency. And I think their experience is very, very different to the people who've been around for a lot longer. But
sure.
The ones who've been around longer don't come on podcasts. You don't speak to them.
Sure.
They've been around long enough. It is their business. They're 9 to 5. They don't need to come on and do the
They don't need to market themselves.
No, they've been here long enough. They're doing what they need to do.
But then it's like, would you seriously? I mean, I know you wouldn't be in a relationship, right? But if you were open to a relationship, let's say 3-4 years ago, would you take seriously a guy who you knew had subscribed to your OnlyFans, and he was like liking all of your half naked photos?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, but this is what I mean. A lot of these girls do. A lot of their partners are actively subscribed to other models because they are so open about their desires, and it's not I'm going to go and sleep with this person. There's no fear of that because you're going, right, well, subscribe, see what she's doing, support the girl. Pay for your porn. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway.
As
support
in, like a girl would be to her boyfriend. You can support and subscribe to another OnlyFans.
But this is what I mean. There are.
That's common.
It's not for everyone. Obviously, not many can do it, but there are a lot of people that are in that situation, and I know a lot of women in the industry will not go with a fella if he says I don't pay for my porn. Like, well, fuck you then. Off you fuck, because
really
you're anti my industry. You're trying to put me out of a job. Then.
Not anti your industry, but if he's like, I'm just not one of those guys who's gonna like pay to try and see another girl that I don't even know naked because I have some kind of respect for myself. Is that's surely a good thing, no?
The respect for myself addition wasn't unnecessary.
Sorry, I just don't think
you can respect yourself and pay for porn. Of course you can. If people weren't paying for porn, there'd be no porn. When everyone goes, oh,
but not everyone respects themselves.
It'd be free on Pornhub.
Not everyone respects themselves though.
But how is it respect to not watch porn? How does that impact on your? Why is the level of self-respect so heavily impacted by somebody else's actions on a video? No.
What I mean, I think if you're publicly showing that you are paying to see a girl who you would likely never meet and maybe never even have an actual connection with, but it's like the only way you're trying to get any level of her attention is to pay through the sexuality. I do think I'm just trying to think like the kind of man I think people would be proud of to be their fathers. Like if my dad was doing that, I would find that embarrassing. And so I think, or if I had an older brother and he was doing that, I would find that embarrassing, right? So when I say, that's why I do think like, that's why a lot of girls have, I know you're an exception, but a lot of girls who do OnlyFans, they're like, yeah, I would never date a guy who subscribed to my OnlyFans, because by him subscribing to my OnlyFans tells me the kind of guy he is, and that's not the kind of guy that I want to choose.
I agree with you to an extent, but there's men and women do that in every industry.
Do what?
Like vie for people's attention that are celebrities or they see as this. Yeah. Musicians, how many people go to tours and go on things in like skimpy little outfits because they want to shag whoever's on stage? They've bought the album, they've bought the ticket, they've bought the merch, they've tagged them an Instagram story.
Yeah, but I think
you're still doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that's the same.
Only because of the value you attach to nudity. That's it.
I think it's very different if there's someone you admire because you admire their artistry and craft, and you're like, if you're like going to a concert or something.
Let's be real. How many people respect Ice Spice's artistry and craft?
I don't know.
How many blokes are paying to go and watch her artistry?
I think they think they're good. Depends how much he's paying. £200 just to go see it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the value is. It doesn't matter how much it is. Because realistically, I put a $3 sale on, then it's only what, £2? What, you can't even pay you won't even pay £2 for it? Do you know what I mean? You're not really skimping yourself to do it. But
are you saying about going seeing her live or like
in any way you're contributing? It's the same way. And if you're doing it and then posting about it or being there and trying to get, do you know what I mean? Because people do. People are in DMs for these top birds that they know are out of the reach, but we're going to try to do a little story reply just in case.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to pursue someone. Like that's not what I'm regarding. Even if it's someone who you do see as like a celebrity or something, right? Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think it is different because a guy can take an interest in you, right? But not subscribe to your OnlyFans, right? But then if he does subscribe to his OnlyFans, do you not think that says something about the guy, or you just see it the same as someone who wouldn't do that?
I just see it the same. If someone doesn't, I'm not the sort of person that's like, oh, if you've never paid for an OnlyFans, I'm never going to have it. Like, I appreciate some people don't want to. I get that. That's fair enough. Not everyone wants that personal relationship with the people they're watching. Some people just want 30 seconds done, close browser, pretend you never watched it. Sure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Delete history.
Oh God, that was terrible.
Also, I'm convinced that delete history was definitely made by a man for men.
Yeah, 100%. All the evidence gone quick.
100%.
But yeah, so I've been with people who don't. They don't pay for it. It's just because it's not for them. If they don't agree with people paying for it, that's a different thing because it's my job, it's my livelihood. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I think everyone should be able to do what they want to do, 100%. But you're not gonna like this. I'll be honest. If my son, I found out he was like paying for a girl's OnlyFans, I'd be disappointed.
I don't know why it makes a difference to you.
Because
it's not gonna hurt him.
I think I'll just be like, if that is the woman you want, I think there's a better approach. There's an approach where you can demonstrate more value to her, where she's more likely to choose you.
What if it's not a situation where he wants a long-term thing? He wants a very specific request from this particular person because she's gorgeous. And
so is the request like a professional service, or is it that he just wants a casual connection with her?
No. So it's a professional service. So he's subscribed to pay to get this very specific. Your future son's got an armpit fetish and it's right hard to find. A Yorkshire bird licking her armpits or some mad shit. Do you know what I mean? So he has to go. That's my only option to get this one need satisfied. I have to go that way. Because trying to find a normal bird doing that. It's not the only
option.
All right, it's going to be a lot harder.
It's the easiest
it's the quicker
option.
Yeah, it's
sure,
the quicker.
It's definitely the easiest and quickest.
But people pay for convenience. Hello Fresh, look at them.
Sure.
Laughing.
I mean, I get that. But in that scenario, he's paying for a service. He's not trying to pursue her.
Yeah.
Right? So I was saying if he's trying to pursue her, because like you even said it yourself, a lot of these OnlyFans models or whatever, they're married and no one knows because it breaks the fantasy. And that fantasy is a guy's going, well, if I give her enough, maybe one day she can be mine.
Yeah.
So ultimately, the main reason why they're subscribing and supporting is because they're actually trying to pursue her through this metric.
Yes, there are some, definitely.
I
And
think
there are some models that lead them on.
most, though.
There are some models that lead
Well,
them
of
on.
course.
But
I mean, that's why they have to pretend they're single, because it's like, because the thing is, if it was like, okay, the example you said, like with my hypothetical son, when I have a son, he's like, Dad, I have armpits. I'm like, damn it, Annalee was right.
It's on the internet forever.
It's on the internet forever. Damn it. Delete episode, editor, delete it. But okay, so let's say he has this armpit fetish and he's just trying to get a service, right?
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't matter if she was married. Because you just pay for the service, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But if she was married and that makes him go, oh, I don't want to do it anymore, that means he's paying
because
to pursue.
Yeah.
Which is what most guys do. Most guys who subscribe to OnlyFans, and this is why, because women are smart, this is why deliberately women will not post their boyfriends or disclose that they're married, because they know full well under the, oh, I'm supporting her because she's great, there's an undertone subconsciously of, if I support her and give her enough, maybe one day, she'll be mine.
It does happen though.
Sure. I'm not going to say it doesn't.
I have seen it. You're a wild one.
So and for me, that's why I say I'd be disappointed, because it's understanding that most guys, right? And I could be wrong, but for me, it's quite clear, obvious. The fact that girls hide their relationships, they also know this is true. The fact that most guys, the reason they subscribe to a girl's OnlyFans is because they are hoping one day that maybe that girl could be her. And this is the approach they're taking. And I think it's such a low value approach that people shouldn't take. If you're just paying for a service, do your thing. Or do your thing, right? You're paying for a service, you're like, this is what I want to see, etc. Cool. But if that's your approach to try and get her, I just think it's a very low value approach.
I think
that's why I'd be disappointed.
I think with that, a lot of those sorts of gentlemen are misled by the models, and I don't do it. I'm very open about what my life's like. I am, if I'm in a relationship, they know I don't have a situation where any of my subscribers, followers, whatever, think, oh no, one day.
Come on, Annalee.
They might hope. There might 100%. Still be a level of hope that we're
like, she's cool,
but
she's
generally,
hot. Why wouldn't they?
We're a very community-based one. So we will sit with me just looking like a scruff, and we'll just sit and chill for a couple of hours on live streams and stuff. We're not. Okay. We have different levels of.
That's still girlfriend material, though.
Yeah.
In fact, that's more. In fact, I even think, I can't remember where I saw this. I even think the most successful OnlyFans girl is not like the crazy most exotic. It's the one who's like the more girlfriend. And she's playing into it, right? She's like being their girlfriend, essentially.
Yeah, which there is, you can do that. I do offer that girlfriend experience of I will be that long distance girlfriend for the day or for the week or whatever.
Right.
But it's the clarification of this is the service, not this is building up to something. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And I've said before, I think OnlyFans has destroyed the industry. I think it's absolutely torn it apart.
How do you mean?
I think the amount of the way it's impacted how people behave and how people spend and what people think they're entitled to now is because of OnlyFans. So before you wouldn't get access to that much content for $3 for a month. But people had to undercut other people because they were this scarcity, we're oversaturated. You're not oversaturated. Yes, there's more of us, but there's still millions of people. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not, because you've lost a few to Sarah down road, you're not. But people they're in such a rush to beat the other people and be doing better than the other people, especially when they brought the percentages in, that to be better than the next person. So what can you do? I have to do something a bit more extreme. So we dropped his prices. So now it's $3. Now it's free. Now you just join for free. You get free trials for everyone. But now I'm not getting enough people in. Doing normal TikToks don't work. So I'm going to do skimpy TikToks. So I'm going to go out in the street and flash people in front of children because that's what's getting views. So I have to go as extreme and vulgar because that's all people pay attention to. And now that's what people think OnlyFans are. The rest of us who are at home doing as stupid videos for grinding away, do you know what I mean? With stupid lights on or whatever, not flashing in front of children. You don't see us. We don't get marketed. We don't get the things because we've got morals.
Sure.
Whether people think it or not.
Sure. I can hear some people being like, you don't have morals.
I know. They see that when people just went.
They just went, morals? What? This girl's contradicting herself. But that is a result of having a free market, though. so this happens all the time. This happens with anything. It's like your phone provider. Well, the reason their prices have come down is because they're competing for it, right? So like you can't, I think you can only really blame, well, I guess, yeah, like you said, it's OnlyFans. But what OnlyFans has done, it's given access for more content creators to capitalize on selling sexuality, essentially.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it saved a lot of women and men who were in really bad financial situations, and a lot of people, you know, have got disabilities or other responsibilities that just mean they cannot do a normal job. This is the one that works for them, and a lot of people have just found it and realized that's, you know, this is what I want to do. I actually do enjoy this, but with it, it's brought a lot of bad eggs who were, like I said, you didn't necessarily see many people doing stuff. There were stunts before, you know, there was a girl years ago got done for being in a library. Oh, wow. She was messing about in libraries on webcams and stuff. But they were so few and far between because no one would stand for it, because you're like, spent so long fighting to get a good reputation as sex workers and have that respect of, we are just doing a job and providing a service. That's not taking away us as people. We're still human. We're still your everyday person. You've just tainted with this view. And then all of a sudden, this desperation of, I need more views, I need more clicks, I need to be a higher percentage than so-and-so. Even though I'm earning significantly more than I need to, I need to be so-and-so. So I'm going to go and piss in Piccadilly Circus midday. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's just, it's just took us so many steps back. It's beneficial on the individual, but as a collective, it's fucked.
I hear you. I have to be honest with you though. I don't think that people who are now like, oh, sex work is like immoral and all of this stuff. I don't think they're doing it because of how extreme it's gotten. I think they have that view because they've always had that view. Oh,
possibly, yeah. But sense? Now it's reaffirmed by what you're seeing. You go, well, of course, that's exactly what I said. Now look at him flashing at kids. Look at fucking, in fact, I'm not going to say any of their names because no.
Sure. Okay, so I guess it's the, it's not so much the sex work,
you see that stuff. You're not going to seek out those of us that are respectful and those of us that are, you know, following guidelines and doing things properly and, you know, trying to do that. You don't see them because it's not interesting. It's not exciting. It's not clickbait.
I do get you, but I'm kind of asking this for the audience. They would even say you being a sex worker is not respectful. Like the people who would say...
To who though?
So when you're saying like, I don't, and I could be wrong, I don't think there's a significant amount of people who are looking at what you do and be like, that's respectful. And then looking at what they do and being like, that's not respectful. I think people see sex work as respectful or not, whatever you're doing. So anyone who's seeing that as just as, you know, what they're doing, which I obviously don't condone, whatever they're doing as inappropriate, disrespectful, they also see anyone who participates in sex work like stuff you would do the same way, right? Yeah. And people who, I get people in the industry might be like, oh yeah, they find sex workers like respectful and all of this stuff. What they're doing is just mad inappropriate. Yeah. Like, it's just unnecessary. But I think, what I'm saying is I don't think that is changing anyone's, what they're doing. I don't think it's made someone go, oh, sex work is respectful and now they're doing that and now it's not. I think...
No, I think they've already had that, but then there's no conversations for the other side. There's no conversations it is respectful. Let's get someone on and speak to them about, convince them the other side that it's not, we're not all doing those stupid, horrendous, extreme graphic things.
But I think what they say is not respectful isn't about what you're doing in terms of, it isn't how you're doing it, it's what you're doing. No, it's what we're doing,
but should we not try and educate people? Did we just let people go, I don't like that group of people, so I'm just going to go, don't like them, no reason, not going to listen to why I should possibly respect them and why there could possibly be that they are the same as me. No, I don't like them. And this all says that why, so no.
Sure. I think there's a problem if they're going, I don't like this group of people. But I also think there's a difference being like, if someone's saying, I don't respect what you choose to do. Like there's a difference.
But you don't need to respect.
Of course. And that's my point, right?
There's a lot of jobs I don't respect. I don't go on Instagram and shout at them in the comments though. I just leave them to it.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, that's the internet, isn't it? Anything you put
that's the difference. That's the difference. Because we get the stupid birds shouting they're going to draw the attention of these people who've got no better to do than sit and
I get that. But then I would say that there is a level of, I don't want to say responsibility. Oh, maybe there is. For those people doing crazy, inappropriate things, they have to be called out by the people in their own industry.
Oh, 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I try and do.
Right.
Always. And there are quite a few people that do this, but you don't want to listen to us because it's not interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, ultimately.
Do you know what I mean? It's an actual conversation. It's like, I've said that when I first went on my first podcast, I was looking forward to it. My degree was in sex work, my sociology degree, so my dissertation was all about sex work. So I'm really interested to have like discussions. And then you go on and they're like, yeah, but what does your mum think? Oh yeah, but if my daughter did this, I'd be like, oh, well, good chat. Do you know what I mean? Like, how on earth can we possibly not even change minds, but give people the information to make an informed decision, not just this is what they are and this is.
I get that. I think, okay, this is the last metaphor I'll say. For it's like doing drugs.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm not saying they're equivalent, but in this sense, it's like you're saying, hey, we only do ket and mushrooms, and you're seeing these other people do like cocaine and heroin, and you're like, that's crazy, and you're making people not respect us, right? And I'm saying the people who don't respect it are already people who are like, anyone who does any kind of drug, I'm not on board for. Like, they don't respect that action. So I don't know who the people, and because anyone who's like, okay, well, I'm down for drugs, they might be like, oh yeah, I would never do that, but if they want to do it, then so be it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyone who's like, oh, I'm down for sex work, they'll be like, cool. Like, I wouldn't personally do what they're doing. That's inappropriate. But if they're gonna do it, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Course. Yeah. And then there are those people that are like fully against it, but obviously the comparison you've made is to something generally negative. If we swap it to something,
depends. I think
if we
green's natural herb.
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm very passionate about the plant.
Sure.
But do you know what I mean? As a general rule,
Yes.
when you say if you're against, you can't say, oh, I don't mind that, but heroin. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
If we put it to a more level choice, religion, and someone chooses to be a certain religion, and you just go, don't like it, not going to hear it. Not going to sit and listen to anybody tell me otherwise. I don't like it. I don't respect it. It's not what I think is right. You can do it, but I'm not going to listen to you. But it's still a choice that person's made.
I completely agree, but isn't that their prerogative though? Like, is it not their prerogative to be like, okay, I don't agree with your belief system, and it's not anyone's job for you to try and convince me otherwise?
No, of course it's not. But on the same hand, you're saying these people are going on and shouting and doing whatever. If we want to make a difference, we have to speak up against these people. So that's what we try and do.
Yeah, I get
I could just sit there and go, no, fucking let it burn. But how's that helpful?
No, yeah, I get that.
Do you know what I mean? Some people have to. And this is what I mean when people think, we ain't got morals. And it's not that we haven't got morals. You just don't see, you wouldn't be able to respect yourself and do our job. I can. People don't think I have self-respect, but I do. As much as people are going to go, no, she doesn't. Self, the clue's in the title, innit? You can't decide that for me. But yeah, it's just one of them things I think where people get, I've lost my train of thought.
No, I do get what you're saying. I just think that you're preaching to the choir. I think that's all I'm saying. Like, the people where it would actually make a difference in their minds, they're already down for sex work.
Yeah.
Like, so,
possibly, yeah.
So the people who are already kind of like, oh, I don't ethically or morally agree with this, it's not because of what people are doing now. They just don't agree with selling sexuality. They just think it's wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people do change their mind. I've spoken to people and they have changed their mind.
Enough.
They've seen it a particular way.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with them and like, oh, I've not looked at it in that sort of respect or whatever. Some people don't. But again, it's, if you cannot possibly see it as just a job, it's because of your value on sex and your value on nudity. That's it. Because it is that's just a thing. So if your value is so rock solid on that, of course you're not going to budge. Of course you're not. And
there's nothing going on with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to inflict it on everybody else that is doing it. Because just leave them to it.
Have your opinion.
But yeah.
Yeah. What if you weren't doing OnlyFans, what do you think you would be doing?
If I'd not been doxxed, I'd have probably still been teaching.
Okay.
I'd have just carried on in teaching, yeah. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Would you have been satisfied with that?
No. No, realistically.
There's no possibility of Jason Love. Like, how am I going to...
Exactly what point. Well, he's not going to come trotting about into a school in Yorkshire,
You never know, man. So, I don't know these stories, you know?
Oh, God, don't.
That's so
school
funny.
run it morning, like.
Do you ever approach guys yourself that you could be interested in? Even obviously for something casual, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't used to.
Okay.
Recently, I've just got into a thing of, do you know what? I don't care. If you said no, next one, see ya.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not as arsed about it now, so I will. I had a mad one recently where I literally pulled up on a man and picked him up off the street.
Would you tell us through that scenario?
So
I have to hear this.
I was leaving London to go back to Yorkshire.
Yeah.
On a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
I was driving through North London and there was a very attractive guy walking past, and he did drive past and clocked eyes, and I got to End at Road and I thought, do you know what? Fuck it, 180, come back round, pulled up. I was like, you all right?
For you.
So he come and said hello. He was like, oh, you're very attractive. Da, da, da. He was like, I'm a bit forward. Do you mind that? I was like, no. So he kissed me. Next minute, he's in car.
Wait, this was in like...
This is midday Sunday, like
within a few minutes.
This is within a few minutes, yeah. So he gets in the car.
What's quick?
Nosh him off for a bit. Then we go right corner between these tower blocks, and then he bends me over behind these tower blocks, and then we do that for a bit, and then we get back in car and I drop him off at his mates because that's where we're going. So
from saying hi to you dropping him off, what was the time period?
About half hour. I know what I want. When I want it, I want it.
Hey, listen, fair, you went out and you got it, right? Do you know what's really funny? That's like a lot of guys' fantasy.
Do you know what? I said this as well.
That's a lot of guys' fantasy.
These porn scenarios that the girls are marketing, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, I went and did this on podcast, and they didn't ever do these things. I'm like, I do these things because no one knows, because I don't film it. Like,
yeah.
Because I don't plan for it to happen. I've just gone and like, just fancied someone, and yeah.
Do you know what's funny? I always say this, and a lot of girls I talk to, they would not approach a guy, right? They would not make it first move, especially
I won't do it on every day. I don't always have that confidence, but sometimes I'm like, do you know what? Fuck it.
You're like, nah, this guy's too fine to potentially pass up.
Lovely now.
But the irony is that if girls actually approach, they would be way more successful than guys.
Yeah.
Like way more successful than guys.
So, yeah.
For sure, because most guys would at least be open to it. You know, unless like if he's really like just not attracted to her at all, then fine. But most guys would be open.
And I think a lot of guys wouldn't have the confidence to be like, no, go away. They just entertain it a little bit out of politeness.
Yeah, I be like, I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Yeah, I do think some people are nice. You know, I'm just not clarify. I don't think all men are garbage, just to be clear.
Not all of us.
But obviously, in that situation, you're still ending up in the same boat. It's just nicer.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I think a lot of women are just scared that you're going to get that big. Because
that's what they do,
and that is just
they do that to guys.
I could never.
But then I
feel so bad.
I kind of understand it to some degree, because I think many women, especially if they're very attractive, they experience saying no nice to a guy, but he's like doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, now I have to
be like, yeah.
And then they just take that approach with every guy just to make it very clear.
Just to be, yeah.
And so I kind of understand. I understand why, but as a woman, that would never happen to you.
No,
even if guy's not interested, like he would never respond that way.
Yeah, it's a terrifying. There's a lot of situations I've not done it. Like most times, I don't DM people first. I'll wait and I do the story likes and that. Do you know what I mean? You exchange a couple of story likes and I just wait. And eventually they DM me.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, is that a thing where like if a girl's into you on social media and she's always liking your story? Is that like because she just likes what you post, or is that because
it's hard to say, because sometimes it is I am just supporting, that.
Okay.
And then sometimes it is tactical.
How do you know the difference?
You can't. And it's very confusing.
Okay.
And it causes a lot of problems. Advances from the wrong people. Like, shit.
Like, damn, that
one is meant to be that one. That DM it. Fuck.
That's hilarious. You said you have kids? One, two? Two? Boys, girls?
One of each.
One of each.
Yeah.
You smashed it out.
Yeah, that's it.
You did it right. That's what I want. One of each. I'm done.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to your son about women? And what advice would you give to your daughter about men?
I'd probably it'd be same for both of them. They'd get blanket advice of if they don't accept you just as you are 100% and you feel like you're having to move to suit somebody else, don't. Just don't. Like, I'm hoping to set a good example. Obviously, they've some experience of me in relationships, and I've got a good relationship with the dad, so they still see that. Their grandparents have been married for years, so they've got those strong relationship role models.
Yes.
But I'd hope to be a good role model of you can just be on your own and be happy. You don't need to rush into, I need this partner, I need this second person, I need this man, woman, whatever. You can, and if they're not happy with whatever, there's another one. There's always another one. There's shitloads. Just hang about 5 minutes, another 3 will pop along.
Probably.
That's what someone said to me once. Why are you settling for one man when you can fit 4 in your car?
It's true. I didn't think you were going to say car then. I'm really glad that's what you said. I'm really glad that's what you said.
I mean, I'm open to trying all new experiences.
God damn, well, you heard it here first. Annalee, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Thank you for sharing your energy with us. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram, Annalee's Fake.
She's the real one. It says fake in the name, but she's the real one.
The ridiculous thing is, I had Fake Annalee was my original one, and then that got deleted as well, which is why I'm now Annalee is Fake.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, see what
Someone's
I mean?
just coming for you.
But yeah, everything's on fakeannalee.co.uk.
Okay.
18 and over only.
18 over only. We appreciate it. Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you.
Me.
Guys, go give her a follow, give her a like, go check her stuff out. And you heard it here first, guys. Any guy watching this and you subscribe, it still may be on the cards. Okay. She will still respect you for it. But yeah, we appreciate you for coming on. So thank you. Guys, thank you for tuning in. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.